All right. Hi, everybody. It's Laura Wider and David Harper today for Friday Live.
Hello, and
And
Harvey.
yes, this is Harvey. It's going to be our HPK Halloween special. And Harvey is a little sailor. Huh. So today we're going to be talking about financial planning. So if you follow us on social media, if you're looking at our website, a few days before our Friday Live, we always post what we're going to be discussing that week. So you can always keep your eyes open up for that. But today we're going to talk about financial planning, and this is what we practice every single day. And just to recap, none of the information that we talk about today is considered financial advice. But if you want to come in for your own individual meeting, we can certainly talk about your own objectives and goals and your own personal financials to make your own plan.
Perfect. No, we've been around for a long time, since 1957, and we are going to be around for a much longer time as well. So uh, we don't want to scare anyone in that regard, but we've been around and we're going to be around.
Yep. And David, this is your first Friday Live. How does it feel?
Woo-hoo.
Good.
I brought my bones and skull necklace, commemorate Halloween.
Love it.
Yay!
Love it. So to kick off today's theme, it's going to be HPK's Halloween special, financial planning ghouls instead of goals. Spooky. So I was searching the internet earlier this week, and I came upon some fun facts about Halloween. So according to Investopedia and the NRF, Americans will spend about $10.6 billion around Halloween. Isn't that crazy?
That's a lot of Snickers.
Yeah, sure is. And it breaks it down. So, out of costumes, candy, decorations, and actually greeting cards, those are the four buckets. Which do you think people spend the most on?
I know what I spend the most on. I'm afraid that candy is for me, but
Candy?
I don't know. I don't know the answer for that one, Laura.
Well, it's actually costumes. So $3.6 billion a year for Americans goes towards costumes. 3.1 billion, and this is billion, dollars goes towards candy. 3.4 billion towards decorations, and about 0.6 billion for greeting cards, which I found odd. Greeting cards for Halloween, but who knows?
Oh, that's good. That's the consumers are. We are certainly in a consumer-driven economy, and Halloween is an event that our economy likes.
Absolutely. And our economy can definitely use the spending right now. So get the good candy, buy the big bars for your trick or treaters. All right. So Mike is actually taking this week off. We certainly miss him this week. So we're just going to stick with the financial planning topics this week at Live. So we posted earlier this week the 10 easy financial planning steps for beginners. We're going to talk about a couple of those today, but if you guys want to scroll down on our Facebook feed a little bit or head to our website, you can read the full link with all 10 financial planning steps. So, and we're going to tie this in. We offer our dream financial planning process in office, and those are individualized plans to your own personal financials, goals, and objectives. And we spend the time show you different charts and processes on how to make your plan better. So the first thing I'd like to talk about, David, is thinking about the end goal in financial planning. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, sirree. Now might see in the background my pirate and my pirate things up on the very top, and they were established in what 1887, and their end goal each spring is to have a winning record, and that hasn't happened for a while. So they might need to realign those end goals. Now, I'll tell you another story. That was just supposed to be for fun, but I remember when I was dating my wife early, that I would go and visit her and her parents, and they had this little cross stitch, nice little hanging on the wall, and it was of these nice colorful balloons. It had the statement, "It doesn't matter where you're going as long as you're on your way." It was antiquated in the 1980s. That was from the 1970s. It doesn't matter where
Wow.
you're going as long as you're on your way. And I'm so thankful that they took it down after I talked to them about it. And I said, that it's a nice cross stitch thing. It has memories attached to it, but when it's not good for hot air balloons to be out, not knowing where you're going, and it's certainly not good for financial plans. You need
Yeah.
to know what your goal is. Do you want to have a second home in Arizona or California, or do you want to retire and move to Costa Rica? Uh, those are different goals and need to have different plans. It could be that all your family is in Western PA and you want to stay in Western PA. That's great. Family is very important to all of us. So if you want to be, depending upon what your end goal is in sight, we have the planning process will get you to where you want to be, and you don't have to be in a hot air balloon not knowing where you're going. Okay.
Absolutely. And I think most of the couples or individuals that we do financial planning for, their goals are either to be able to retire early, not run out of money throughout retirement, and even if they live a really long time, or they want to, have these big goals of taking one big abroad trip during the year, along with traveling domestically too, doing little trips here and there. So I think that's mostly what we see with the planning. Do you agree?
Yes, and I guess uh, the whole purpose of planning your finances is that you become the master of your money and don't let the money master you.
Mm-hmm.
And all of our planning process is based on if you want to continue to work, we want to get you to the point where you're working because you want to and you enjoy your job, not because you have to.
Yes.
And that's very big on an end goal. If you don't like your job, well, let's work on some practical steps that you can take to get you to a place where you're working because you want to,
Yep.
not because you have to. Whether it's retiring early, and there is one of the goals, GHOULS, financial planning, is that if you want to retire early and you're socking all your money into a 401k or retirement plan, well, what happens if you're retiring at 55 and you have a penalty on those retirement plans that you can't touch until age 59 and a half sometimes?
Yep.
What are you going to do with that for that 4-year time period?
Yeah. So it's all about planning for the future that you want.
Super.
Let's do it the smart way. Which leads me right into my second point, which is knowing where your money goes. So that's super duper important during your spending years, especially when you have a family and everything. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Okay. We used to call it a ledger. When we would build a budget, some people have said that a budget is too constrictive, too much of a negatory connotation. I don't care what you call it, whether it's a spending plan or a budget, but you need to understand where your money goes in order to make a proper budget that fits your lifestyle. And
Mm-hmm.
where you'd be surprised when you start writing down, oh, I got Starbucks for $5 $5 a cup at this time. And if I do that 5 days a week, that's $25 a week. That's $100 a month. That adds up. As opposed
Yeah.
to maybe going to the grocery store and getting one of those Starbucks canisters, if you like Starbucks so much, that cost $5, but can last you for 3, 4 days. So a
Yep.
simple little thing like that, understand where your money goes will also help you understand how you can best budget and so forth.
And I think through budgeting, it's not so much, and we're very big on this. So we always say there's an art and there's a science to what we do. The art says drink the ground coffee you make at home and never buy Starbucks. And the art of it says, you can have Starbucks every once in a while, or if it's not killing your budget, then enjoy it. But doing it every single day, is that wasting your money? So we like to just talk about that, but also just talking budgets with some of my friends and some of my clients. They realized that they had a gym membership they never canceled, or they have 3 streaming services that they're paying for, and they don't even use 1 or 2 of them. So just going through a budget and looking through and seeing actually what you're spending, you could save that money by canceling some things, or just realizing most of my paycheck goes to fixed expenses and I have a certain allotment for disposable income or fun things to do.
Laura, budgeting is so important to me. I budget even now, and I'm sure you budget. That
Mm-hmm.
realize that 20% of the U.S. population doesn't really need to budget because they can make enough money, or they can just gear up and work harder to make more money to go over those pitfalls, and they live as if they don't need a budget. And 20% of the population can do that. However, it appears that almost 80% of the US population lives as if they don't need a budget. That's not too wise.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing a budget, understanding where the money goes, and in earmarking, hey, we can cut corners here, we can do here, that helps you meet those end goals that you've identified.
Yep.
If you want to retire early and yet you're spending $100 a month on Starbucks, well, maybe if you're able to cut that down to $50 a month on Starbucks, you'd be surprised what $50 a month saving can do over a period of years. We're not
Mm-hmm.
talking, people say, well, it doesn't really make a difference. Well, by budgeting, it frees up an opportunity to see where you could save. $50 a month doesn't sound like a whole lot, but over 15 years, that's $9,000. Oh, wow, $9,000. That doesn't mean a whole lot. Well, invested in a nice growth mutual fund, it
Mm-hmm.
could come back to $36,000 or a little bit give or take. All right. And again, these are actually profiles that I've done many years ago. Now, over 30 years, and I still have 30 years ahead of me. I still do. And I know Laura does. But
Yep.
$50 a month doesn't sound like a whole lot. Over 30 years, that's a total of $18,000. But a good growth mutual fund could turn into well over $225,000.
Mm-hmm.
So those teachers starting out, get into that 403B plan. Get into that regular savings, because after 30 years, we want you to be teaching in that classroom because you want to, not because you have to. And if you've got a
Absolutely.
403B and a pension plan from the state and the district, guess what? You don't have to keep teaching if you don't want to.
Yep. Yeah. So we already kind of covered the third one, which was making a budget. And it ties so well into knowing where your money goes. And both of those are so important to work on your end goal. So those are just 3 of the 10 easy financial planning steps. If you want to go over your own dream plan, you can give us a call or, shoot us an email or anything. We talk about your short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals, how we can reach those based on different pathways, either good or bad. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but we tweak certain things to make sure to give you the best pathway to reach your goals. And then, it's definitely based on like your lifestyle, your current financials, and all of that. So we can certainly bring you in for your own dream planning meeting, individualized specifically to you, and meet your financial goals.
Yeah, let's turn those goals into goals.
Nothing scary about financial planning. So,
and have a good weekend, folks. Okay, understand that there's a lot of uncertainties out there, but what is certain is that the sun's going to come out tomorrow, and whether it rains or so forth, we know that the sun is going to come out. Okay, and election is coming up, so take measurement and enjoy time with your family and loved ones, and understand that, hey, we want to offer perspective that life is worth living. The alternative, as my father-in-law would say, David, it's okay to breathe. The alternative is a killer, though.
Good old Ron quotes. They're always helpful.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And David and I are the rookies of of Friday Live. So give us a thumbs up for this Friday Live.
If you want to see me back.
Okay. See you, everyone. Have a good weekend.